The fact that you guys are all sitting here listening to us speak is a step more than I ever did in my career at university. I regretfully so. I did what maybe some of you are doing. I panicked when I got out of school because I wasn't going to be an IST. I wasn't going to be a scientist or a journalist or a nuclear physicist, single and dying if you listen to my mother. But I wasn't any of those things, so I panicked. So I stuck in what I was doing. And what I was doing was working in a restaurant. I was working in a variety of them, I was cooking, waiting tables, terrified to actually look at what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. But over time, I realized working till 1 o'clock in the morning, steaming crab legs, shucking oysters, doing all that stuff. If you're a chef, it's a great career. If you hate every minute of it and you have large kitchen knives, it's not a good career for you. I also got lucky is that I did have an epiphany moment while working in a restaurant. I looked out, it was an open concept kitchen, and the author Kurt Vonnegut was sitting there. And I was like, oh my God, it's Kurt Vonnegut, it's Kurt Vonnegut. And my coworker said, I have no idea who that is unless he ordered something on your station. Shut that up and get on with it. And I realized at that moment, I wanted someone to talk to someone in my job that actually read a Kurt Vonnegut book. So moving forward from there, I actually had to stop and think. What do I do? What do I enjoy doing? How do I do it? So I started to nag my bosses. I think a common theme I'm hearing is it's not nagging, it's networking. But I nagged my boss to let me start doing things in the office, start working at the event side of things. Because I realized I was really good at details from school, from my education. I didn't value, I think, now I do, but at the time I didn't value the skills. I didn't value the ability to, as many of the panelists have said, communicate well, to read, to write, to think, to follow critical paths. All of these things which I do currently in my job. So I snagged my boss and I started working in a restaurant. I started doing stagettes, planning stagettes, small gatherings, 40th birthdays. And I realized afterwards I was actually able to double the income that restaurant made, basically out of that. And it was all these skills that education had brought forward in me. Again, being able to think, being able to see what people wanted, how they wanted it, and to ultimately turn it into dollars and cents. From there, my ability to basically strategic plan and multitask, which all of you do every day, balancing a workload and a course load. Again, I studied on the Finch bus coming to and from York, but that was my multitasking at the time. I basically was then able to move forward to working with larger companies on larger events. Conferences, weddings, bar mitzvahs. My career at that point in sort of the middle period became very diverse. I've been privileged enough to work on the project of March with the Living, and also the Adult Entertainment Awards, a very diverse. My mother was proud at that one as well, just saying. March of the Living, Porn Awards, it's just a tough call for her. So basically then, as I was thinking about what I was going to say today, I kind of sort of had to break down where I'm at and why I'm at it and what skills, humanities, English literature degrees, as a lot of the panelists have, brought forward. At the time, again, I picked courses based on what my whim was. I did some Jewish studies, I did English studies, I did a little history, again, without placing value upon them. Thinking, this sounds really cool, I'm going to read this, I'm going to read that. Oh, I really want to go to South Africa, maybe I'll take South African studies. Again, all of these things, though, ultimately are coming back and adding only value to my life and my education and my work education. Also, my degree, and I hate to use it, has allowed me to think outside the box. I actually like that saying, but because in my job, that's what I do. I get a problem, someone says, this is the event I want to have, this is what we do in the building, and I have to think how to make that happen, and I have to see the big picture and break the big picture down into the little pictures. And sometimes I have to get very creative. Sometimes someone will say to me, I want this, and I go, we can't do that. And then I have to find a way to do that. And that's all, again, skills from education, skills from studying humanities, taking a hypothesis and maybe proving your own hypothesis wrong and not having such a focused perspective. I often have to give clients events that exceed expectations and also make money. Again, it's multitasking. It's breaking down everything into minute details. It's seeing what the big picture is and how the big picture is affected by the little pictures. Now in my current position as Director of Sales and Events at Rinks, we are an entertainment facility that runs a whole whack of things all at a different time. Bowling, laser tag, roller skating. All of these things run simultaneously, so I now have to be a part of everything that goes on in our property. I have to, again, think critically, if this truck comes in at this time, if this machine breaks down, where can this person go? All of these things go constantly through my head. I'm very fun at parties, let me tell you. I have to think of everything by breaking it down into minutes, months, days, weeks. Again, all of this is coming from an education that at first I didn't necessarily value. The research skills for writing papers, which you all are doing, has been a huge and valuable tool. Basically, customers ask me for things all the time and have in my career. I've had to find out how to have a camel at a wedding. I've had to find an elephant for a wedding. I've had to do crazy things, and you have to research that, and it's not easy. And yes, with the internet, it's a whole lot easier than calling on the phone, but I had to learn, and camels poo a lot, I'm just saying, in case you were wondering. And elephants spit at ladies in fancy dresses. Doesn't go over well. I also have to keep in touch of things that are new fads, going to conferences of my own, researching that. I have to know what the next big thing is before it is. I don't ever want to be caught up saying, did you know about that? And I have to go, yeah, totally. And then look at and Google it. So research is a part of my day-to-day life. And again, sometimes it's on my own volition, sometimes it's when someone throws me for a loop. I also have to be a good communicator, and that is presenting clear and concise arguments. Again, all based from, I have to prioritize my workload. Everyone does. But you really have, as an events planner, I really have to know what is important. Some things are down to the minute. Some things are down to, I don't have to deal with that for 4 months. I need to be on top of that. I also have to creative problem solve. Right now I work in a building that a lot of our games and our equipments are technical, and as part of the beast, they break down. So I have to think, I ask my staff, who sometimes do it, sometimes don't, instead of going, it broke down, I need to know, it broke down, we can move them into this game, let's give them free pizza just to make them happy. We always have to kind of figure out how to do it. And as a person now that employs and interviews staff, I look for people that have these skills, and I look for people with the degrees in humanities and the English literatures. Again, it's going to thinking outside the box. I want people who will come to me if there's a problem, and while I ultimately might make the final decision on the problem, I want them to come to me and say, we have a problem, we can do A, B, or C, and I can go C and move on with my day, instead of, well, I could Google it. I want people that are able to go beyond, and that's part of the creative and strategic thinking. So I guess my parting words of wisdom, but take them always with a grain of salt, is don't see your future as closed, see it as wide open. Get a better jump on it than I did, because I would be way farther along in my career path had I not wasted a few years sort of being, I don't know what I'm going to do, nothing's going to work out. I really wish I had the ambition that you guys have just even being here, and some of the panelists as well. There's no such thing as wasted years, because I absolutely believe that. Everything that I've done, every place that I've traveled, every person that I met, as a lot of people are talking about, has influenced me and helped me perpetuate my career. now as a person who is ambitious, who does, sees always the next opportunity and is creative and driven by money at the same time, because I totally am. I like shoes. So as a person now, I really wish I had that back in the day. I really do. So that's my parting words of wisdom.